The Lekker Rugby Pod instant reaction with Harry Jones. Only on Megafoon Rugby.
One of the best matches I've seen in a knockout, because knockouts usually you have the mistakes that this one had between the Saints and Leinster. But what you don't usually have is the flow and the fantastic tries. Scored by Tommy Freeman, 3 of them, hat-tricks. Henry Pollock, who was my man of the match, and then James Ram, a well-deserved one in the 62nd minute. But also Leinster did their part. Josh van der Fleer twice, Caelan Doris once, James Lowe and Tommy O'Brien, and 3 magic tap and goes until it didn't work. Listen, to get through the Nienaber defense, a lot of things are going to go right for you. You got to do it all in split seconds. The first try, the flat pass to Finn Smith from Ram, who cut the line. He kicked through, and then Freeman holding that space so that he could get the quicker line to the ball and that kind bounce. The Saints grew in confidence from that score, obviously, and even started to exit by the run instead of the kick. But what I thought at the moment was you have to keep that going forever. So 7th minute try, then the game went in waves. Neither side really could hold momentum. We've talked on this channel about how there's no such thing really in sport. There's just every moment in time there's a contest for the ball and for ascendancy. But at 10-8, it did feel like even with the kicks missed by Finn Smith vying for a Lions place, and that'll be his one worry. Northampton just had edges, sort of quickness of thought, and Leinster had the power game waiting. So 25 minutes when Leinster went up again, through the try by Josh, and it went to 15-10, you started to wonder because Northampton started to get pinged. And as the Saints got pinged more, you wondered, is it enough to only be better at 4 or 5 positions where Augustus is outplaying Doris, where you have Pollock outplaying Van der Fleer, although both Doris and Van der Fleer had wonderful matches. Kemeny actually is doing his part, so the loose trio had the ascendancy. Possibly Alex Mitchell outplaying Jameson Gibson Park. And that JGP outplaying might have been the most important of all for the shape of game. But you don't have to be better at all 50 positions. And clearly, Northampton was not. You also have to have a guy like Henry Pollock to step up and quantum leaps, do some things that no one else can do, like literally get to the edge on a very long, very quick Prendergast and get around him and find the edge. That must have registered for the quick fields of Australia for Andy Farrell. At 17-15 then, 35 minutes in, two tries apiece. The scrum's basically at parity. Leinster depending on, the offload, the tip-pass, Northampton doing some line breaks and finding edges. It just felt like in the end it was going to be a mistake, a call. It was going to be some gripping moment at the end. The denouement of the French referee and a French TMO. But Tommy Freeman just has forgotten how to not score. So he ran in and had an understated celebration. He's been the king of the cool ones. And in this game, it was actually Pollock who did the coolest one, checking his own pulse. Up 22-15, and Trocky does the Sonny Bill Williams, Trocky Bill Williams with the chicken wing. Freeman goes free again. 27-15. So at 37 minutes, 27-15, and 4 points wasted off the tee, you had to ask yourself, where did this come from? 4 tries against the Nienaber in the first. When has that ever happened? Probably never. And so at halftime, well-deserved lead, and you knew there would be a response. At Oranges, Nienaber must have just thrown everything, Leo the Lion as well. So at 46 minutes when Caelan Doris goes over from a tap and go, Dan Sheehan feint, Josh does the heel brow, shake and bake, and then skip off just as good as a 9 would do to Mr. Doris. It's down 22-27, and then those missed opportunities by Smith off the tee start to bother you. There's a rip strip and a 50-22 twice for Leinster and a forward kicking. So it just seems like the game then starts to kind of settle into a proper knockout. The long kick from Finn Smith, who finds his kicking boots, just makes Leinster even angrier. That 8-point lead shrinks to 3. Fourth strike by Sam, though, starts to feel the nerves. And he would not enjoy watching this match over again. He will not forever. 30-27 to Northampton. And it looked like to me at that point in time, 63 minutes and then 70 minutes with those two responses. It felt a lot like it was going to come down to a goal line stand. I thought the Australians, James Ram, Josh Kemeny, the Safatroki Ochasis, were absolute guns all match. 37-27 Saints with 16 to play. You started to have these kind of riddles. Would you prefer to have one man down, but up 10? Would you prefer to have one man down, 3 minutes to go, but up 3? And the answer is always to be ahead. In the end, it's always to be ahead. The one chasing always is going to have a tough time. Leinster was doing these tap and goes. And what they would do is pull you to the open side and then score on the blind side, or pull you to the blind side and score on the open side. Everyone has to react the minute you pull away what looks to be the runner, and then you put in someone with good hands. But Northampton sort of realized if we keep attacking and playing in the right territories, fate's in our hands. But Henry Pollock kept pulling off the remarkable steal, pulling Big Joe McCarthy around and then pushing him where he wanted to be in the air, setting him down and then pilfering him into the jackal position meant that it was going to, in the end, come down to defensive stands. Sure enough, in the end, we had a very strange conversation between the French referee and the TMO, with a ball dislodged from Josh's hands almost on the goal line, the ball squirting out, a penalty against Northampton, and yet not a penalty try. And then basically it came down to a tap and go, which had been working, and it worked until it didn't. And the game was done and dusted with 3 or 4 tap and goes around the corner, off 9, and then a kick into the Dublin night and exhilaration. Across the board, Northampton Saints played bravely. Without doubt, guys like Jordy Barrett, Arachis Neyman proved their worth. But it was all down to the 4 tries in the first half. That is something that a home team can never allow. And it will be the subject of great inquisition in Leinster today. Unfortunately for them, it's the same old, and they'll be bitterly disappointed and now loaded for bear in the URC. The IRC is all that matters now for them. For the Saints, there's no way they don't believe they can beat either Bordeaux or Toulouse. Absolutely no way. And there's a fine structure here in the Lions team that comes from the Saints, not just Leinster. So Andy Farrell, unless he's a fool and he's not, would have seen some people who can step up in big moments and take it to the Wallabies. I'm out. Lekker Rugby Pod, one of the most lekker games I've seen in ages.